Whiskey Watches and Wheels, the #1 podcast in Intercourse, Pennsylvania. And for y'all listening, Kevin yells at me thinking these are not real towns. These are real towns. I've Googled it. I promise. I'm the phenomenal Matt Green.
Intercourse.
Yeah, exactly. Boys, how we doing? And introduce yourselves.
Doing well. I'm Casey.
I'm James.
I'm Kevin.
Casey, the birthday boy. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. So let's jump right in, guys, because we got a lot to talk about. Let's do our wristwatch check. Who wants to go first?
I will. Fuck it. I got an Arnie. It's the same one that I've worn for a long time, and you guys don't need to see pictures of it because it was a Chinese one, and now this is a real one. That's good.
Check out Instagram. The pictures are there.
That was simple. I liked it. I'll go. I am again wearing today Captain Willard. As I said a couple weeks ago, huge fan of this one, wearing it a lot. I'm going almost every other week, I think, wearing this one now. Good stuff.
What's with the repeats, everybody?
I know.
Well, I don't own 47 watches, so it takes me a while to accrue.
All right, here, I'll go next, James. So I got the tried and true. No, SKX 009 with Pepsi dial.
That's a nice watch. I never see you wear that.
Yeah, I wear it. Oh. So it's listen, it's an SKX. It's bulletproof. It does everything you want it to do, and then some. It keeps great time, and it'll keep ticking for the next 25, 30 years. So,
and as a disclaimer, guys, I actually do like. Well, I know you guys all do too, but I stay at work, so sometimes I think about it, sometimes I don't. So, but I have to wear a watch at work, and I'm not going to carry 2 watches. And I'm not wearing a Rolex, and
you're not going to double wrist it.
No, I'm not wearing a nice watch to work. So sometimes I've thought about it, but
watch your hand movements with that, Matt.
Well, yeah, exactly. What was that show we were talking about? The air dicking or whatever. Ricky Stinicky or whatever.
The salt shaker. If you do that, you'll taste salt.
Yeah, there you go. All right. James, what you got?
Okay. All right. So last episode, I wore my vintage Seiko rally watch.
I heard about that.
Then I mentioned that I would wear the new one this week. So this is a Rowing Blazers. Does that come up for you?
It is, and I love the Rowing Blazers stuff, man. They team up with a lot of cool watchmakers.
Yeah, they do. They have some really cool ones, all limited edition. So Rowing Blazers X Seiko 5 Sports Rally Diver Watch, limited edition of 500 from 2021. I grabbed this back then. I just dig it. I like the new one. It comes with the really nice box. It comes with 2 bands. Of course, I take the metal band off and put on the NATO. So it has this green NATO. But I think it's quite cool. Another shot there. And then the back is quite unique as well. So with the skeleton, the Rowing Blazer skeleton. So
am I an idiot? Yes. But what the hell is Rowing Blazers?
Don't answer that. It's a clothing brand.
And you're not an idiot, because when I first heard about the collaboration and I saw it, I thought legit it was like a rowing team from somebody, like a Yale rowing team. Yeah. And but it's not. It's a clothing brand.
There you go.
They do a lot of collabs with watch brands, various brands. Seiko. They've done with
4 or 5, I believe.
Yeah, I think they actually did. Seiko. It wasn't.
Bro, I'm looking at their homepage right now. Maybe they can be our sponsor one day or something. But this clothing is awful.
There goes that.
This is
Rowing Blazers. If you're listening, ignore Casey. I will gladly take your money.
Casey's resigning shortly.
Fucking hell! It's got sheep all over a green sweater. I don't understand it. I'm not that cool, obviously.
Anyway,
I'm not.
There's the original that I wore the week before from '69, and then the new version from Rowing Blazers. So that's what I'm wearing.
We're all lively tonight, man. You can tell we're all in a good mood, though.
Oh, we're ready to go.
We're ready to rock and roll because we got to jump into this. So we alluded to it on the last podcast. Casey wasn't here. He was out in Nashville watching the NAAA, not NAACP. What was it?
And
It's the SEC basketball tournament.
NAACP. So so they're watching the basketball games. And
There were
SEC,
white people
right?
there.
yeah,
SEC.
SEC,
Correct.
yeah. And so his sweet wife reached out to us and said, "Hey, he's turning 40. Can you guys, I know it's a big ask. Can you guys fly out and surprise him on his birthday?" And we immediately said, absolutely. And so we did. We surprised him. Casey, were you surprised?
To say surprised would be an understatement. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. Go ahead, Matt. Finish up.
No. I was going to say we took over. We tore up the town, man. We had a good time.
Yeah.
So you were surprised. Your mom was there too, and your brother.
Yeah, it was a complete surprise. I've never had a surprise party like that at all. There's no way I would have believed or thought that something that you guys would have shown up for that. Obviously, we'd been to the basketball game, prior to dinner, and got stomped, which put me in a terrible mood. And so then we go back to our hotel. This is just a couple blocks from the hotel or from the arena, and subsequently where we had dinner. And I'm in there and I pound a couple ranch waters, and I'm like, fucking hell, this evening is going to be terrible. Like, I'm just in a terrible mood. And we're walking back to go to dinner at where we eat 12:30 Club, which, by the way, fantastic food, really loud, but really, I thought the food was great.
Very loud.
Cool
food
atmosphere.
was great.
Cool atmosphere. Yeah. So they can be a sponsor. Shout out 12:30 Club. But walk in and I'm completely just like out of it. Just like anybody would walk into a restaurant, you walk up to the hostess stand, hey, we're here for our table, whatever. And Ashley like pushes me out of the way so that she can speak to the hostess. I'm like, what the hell is up with this? I mean, just nothing registered, and kind of have my head down walking to the table. And then as we approach, I look up and just see all you guys. And it was a very awesome moment, I have to say. It really was. I was completely surprised. It took me a minute to get out of that shitty mood. But I was shocked. It was awesome.
That's great, man. Great. I know for us, we can rewind. So, me and Stacy, my wife, we flew in on Friday. And so we flew in on Friday. Let me start off starstruck immediately because we get to the Orlando airport. I knew it was going to be a good trip when we get to the airport. And so I'm a 90s guy, that's when I was in high school, was during the 90s, love 90s music. And I immediately look up as I'm walking through the Orlando airport and I see this guy. He's like 5'5", purple hair, bucket hat. And I immediately knew it was Robbie Tackett from Goo Goo Dolls, the guitarist of Goo Goo Dolls. And I said, oh my God. And of course, I'm not going to bother people, but it was cool just seeing someone that you've listened to on the radio for forever, at the airport. So when I saw that, I said, that's a good omen. I knew this was going to be a fucking awesome trip. And it was. So Kevin, you guys flew in on Friday as well, right?
Yeah, but I didn't see anybody special.
No one special.
I saw me. I drove in and I saw
Not
Buc-ee's.
on Friday. I didn't.
Yeah, you saw Buc-ee's. You went to Buc-ee's. Yeah, had you been to Buc-ee's before or no?
It was Friday.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I have.
Yeah,
it's always an experience.
It's Walmart at its finest. Walmart people times 2.
Yeah, so we endured
cheap gas.
The I don't want to say the cruise line singing for like an hour before you got there, Casey.
Yeah, nice.
And it was a lot of CeeLo and what's the other guy's name? What the other songs?
CeeLo Green and I know what you're talking about.
Is it a little Filipino guy?
Michael Hall.
Anyways, a lot of
no,
a lot of his songs. Some Lionel Richie and
a lot of wedding songs.
And it was sad because we heard some really good bands. So we started off the night. We left the hotel and we had time to kill before we were meeting Casey and Ashley at the venue, the restaurant. And so we went to Garth Brooks' new bar, Friends and Low Paces. We went to Kid Rock's bar. We had a crazy Uber ride on the way over there by a young lady by the name of Janet. Janet was, and here we are. We get the Uber. We're about to get in. I booked the Uber. I'm going to be nice. Hey, James, go ahead and sit up front. And so James walks over to the front and he just looks in and he looks at me and goes, no. And I said, no, man. No, it's okay. Go ahead and sit up front. And he goes, nope, not doing it. So I immediately opened the door and I see a beach towel on the chair. And I immediately knew why James didn't want to sit up front. And God bless Janet. She was, she talked faster than I did. And she had two eyes going two different directions. And her eyes were going, one was going left and the other was going kind of upright. And every Christmas tree is an understatement. Every light on the dash was on. Her airbag light was on. We're in a, I want to say it was like it was a Nissan Pathfinder Nissan and
Rogue or some shit.
Yeah, Rogue or whatever. The motor was about shot. So every time we get to a stop sign or a stoplight, she'd have to throw it in neutral because the motor was going and about to stall out. So she'd have to throw it in neutral. I'm thinking, man, if we survive this Uber ride, we're gonna have a great night.
I did not notice any of this stuff sitting in the back. So
no, she knew everything too. She knew every owner of the bar, the backstory of every honky tonk. So it was quite entertaining.
From right there. Yeah. Shout out to Janet if you're listening. So
nice.
Well, there goes her sponsorship.
Yeah. And then Kevin was nice enough. He made us a bunch of Whiskey Watches and Wheels stickers. So we proceeded to sticker bomb, every bar we were in. Putting them everywhere. So if you're in Friends in Low Places or Kid Rocks or looking at random light poles in Nashville, look for our stickers because you'll find them.
Yeah. So, what'd you think of Friends in Low Places?
It's big.
Very big.
I didn't think it had a vibe at all.
Yeah, I think it's.
Well, we did get there. We got there. We were there early, so we weren't there during.
We went to Kid Rock's early too, and that place was rock slam.
It was crazy. But it's also. I mean, it hasn't been open that long, so maybe. I mean, I don't know enough about Nashville nightclubs. Well,
wouldn't you expect if it just opened? Wouldn't you expect it to be overrun with people to check it out? Like that whole tiki bar shit on the fourth floor. That was. That's a hard pass right there.
The good thing about Nashville is there's no cover charges, which is great because can you imagine if we're bar hopping and we have to pay $5 to see a band? Bruno Mars was the guy, by the way.
Bruno Mars. Yeah,
every single and the other song.
Yeah,
that
I
we
knew
heard
that
a million times
was
Mr. Brightside by the Killers.
Exactly.
We heard Mr. Brightside by every band in every club.
Bar.
Yeah.
It was
I think there's only 20 songs that they're allowed to play through all those bars.
I will say that I heard on one of the radio shows I listened to that these owners of these bars often will randomly show up. And we were there. We went to Kid Rock on Saturday night.
We went. We went
a couple times
Friday night, and then you went with us Saturday night.
Correct? Yeah, he was there on Tuesday night.
Oh, wow.
And my daughter has been there with the CMT Awards, I think 4 years ago. And she was literally standing right there and she took a picture. And when she was a kid, she used to make us watch Joe Dirt all the time. And we're like, it's Joe Dirt. It's like from Joe Dirt. And she didn't remember. And we're like, we used to have to watch this like all the time. Mm-hmm. But she literally could touch his leg. That's how close she was. Yeah. And I guess he does frequent that bar a lot.
But did she touch his leg?
I don't know.
I wonder, do some of these, I mean, I know that I heard Garth actually physically owns his bar, but I wonder if some of these guys are.
If many of the other ones do,
If I know for a fact that like Blake Shelton, Old Red, it's a franchise. So they're, there's just franchisees and it's using their name.
Old Red is an Opry property.
Yeah.
And honestly, maybe those guys might do. The restaurant business is tough. The bar business is tough. I would have a hard time imagining that the Nashville bar scene struggles, at least on Broad. But I think it might be more lucrative for those guys just to license their name out and just make a big paycheck off their name on the, in lights out front, rather than having to deal with the overhead and the headache of the day-to-day of owning an actual bar.
Yeah.
I didn't think we had a chance to see anybody like that weekend based on the SEC tournament, St. Patty's Day.
Oh, I'm sure they avoided it like the plague.
It was insane.
It was very insane. Matter of fact, to the point that Saturday night was almost unbearable to be down there. shout out to Kid Rock's bar though, because as a self-proclaimed stone dork, the bar was kick ass. The bar was a material called blue agate that was backlit, almost like an onyx, and it was the entire bar. And I know what that stuff cost, and that bar was not inexpensive to produce.
That's really cool that you noticed that. I certainly didn't notice that, but that's cool.
We asked Matt about that on Friday, and he was telling us it was like $2 something a square foot.
It's like $230 a square foot for the material.
Holy fuck!
Yeah,
a square foot. Yeah, and we were like, "What the hell?" Like that thing was
slabs range anywhere between 17 and like 20 grand a slab.
Wow!
And there was probably, I'm going to guess, probably somewhere between 10 and 12 slabs to produce that bar. So
it
was a big bar.
I will say that as busy as it was on Saturday night, I felt like we got in easily, relatively quickly. I know it was relatively early. We weren't, there at 1 a.m., but, we were able to make it up to the rooftop, and I was able to get drinks, fairly quickly without having to bitch and moan. And I've been to a lot smaller bars with a lot less people that were more difficult to navigate and get drinks for.
In Nashville, Casey?
Historically, yes. I mean, it's hard to. You got to go off, Broad now to find those places. But I mean, and we've all been to places, other locales where, the bar service isn't as quick as what we experienced there.
Yeah.
Yep. So I want to rewind for. Oh, go ahead, James. What were you saying?
I was just going to say there was never a delay in getting your alcohol.
No,
they do a good job.
Pretty quick.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I was impressed with was at Kid Rock's bar. And for those listening who's never been to Nashville, this was my first time actually going downtown. I'm in Nashville, but usually for work. Is all of the bars are multi-level. They all have multiple levels. Sometimes you have stairs to get up, but like with Kid Rock's bar, it's an elevator. And so you think it's 4 stories tall. You have literally 1,000 people trying to use these elevators, but I was surprised at how smooth that process was and how quick it was to go up and down the elevators to get to the various levels. So
yeah, I had never been either. But you know who has been apparently a lot? It's my wife, because she seemed to know awfully a lot about every single bar to go to.
She was very intimate with a majority of those bars and knew exactly where to go.
Yes, and I know you're listening.
Interesting.
And I'm just going to say, I know you're listening. So, she knew the place. Her company that she works for, they're based out of there. So she goes there every year. And she knew the back doors and the different restaurants to go to. And, let's take this way and that way. And I'm like,
she doesn't go to bed early?
She says she does. And then when we were out, she said, no, but I go on the last night. I mean, of course, but, okay. So
I want to rewind a little bit because we talked about Saturday night and being at Kid Rock's, but earlier in the day, we started the day off by meeting Casey down at this really cool kind of store called Buck Mason.
Yeah.
Buck Mason. And the cool thing about Buck Mason was they had a 912 Targa in the actual showroom of the clothing store, which I thought was kind of cool.
No Porsche clothes, because that's what I thought we were going to go. I thought we were going to get Porsche clothes.
Yeah, let's be honest. We saw this Porsche and we're like, yeah, we're going there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and listen, those kind of stores are really cool. But the second I walked in, I knew immediately that Skinny Kevin and Skinny James now would have no problem finding anything. And I knew there wasn't a single thing in there other than maybe a pair of shoes that would fit my fat ass. So,
the sales guy, Dallas, he was pulling out T-shirts and that guy was working it. I mean, he was good. He was definitely, and
your wife helping him as well.
Oh, was she?
Yeah.
Well,
I think she was selling away.
Trying to get me to spend a lot more money than I did.
No, yeah. Well, I know we walked out when we were in there, and then it seems like maybe just because somewhere when sometimes you go somewhere there could be dead, and then as soon as you get there, like they see people in the store because immediately it got packed, and I'm like, come on, people aren't spending this kind of money on T-shirts.
What was funny is they had one mirror, so it looked like there was a line to look in the mirror.
I never, for some reason, I never got that shirt that I had got. She didn't charge me for it. I looked in the back because I was going to wear it.
Oh, because you were wearing it.
No, I was not wearing that T-shirt.
The T-shirt. Got it.
Yeah, I put it on the counter, but she didn't charge me for it, and I didn't get it neither. So,
so for
I'll have
those
to borrow
listening at
yours.
home, check out our YouTube for the live feed. We'll show some photos. So here's a picture of the Buck Mason store, and it's a fairly small store,
It's very
but
small.
it was very cool though to have like the 912 sitting in the lobby and everything. So
That
or in
store
the
is
kitchen.
all of 1,000 square feet with a back room.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no door. It's literally a roll up garage door, and it's almost like a garage one bay mechanic shop that they turned into a store. So.
And somehow they have this with all their colorways. They have a matching Porsche in there that matches.
It was very
their
cool
colors.
shop. Very cool shop.
Yeah.
It's as we were discussing, like I'd like to be that guy that dresses in those clothes. I really enjoy seeing those things and the feels, the material, that stuff, the aesthetic of it. I really, really like. But I just my closet's full of other stuff, and I for whatever reason I can't wrap myself around that stuff.
I didn't see a problem for your wife.
Oh no,
Well, she shot for both of them.
She had no problem.
Yes.
She can find something she likes. If it's expensive, she's gonna like it.
Okay.
Love it.
It's automatic.
So we went there, and then where did we go? Then after that, we went to a
Some food.
restaurant. Yep.
Yeah, we got some lunch, and then from there we went to the Tennessee Barrel Company for some bourbon tasting.
Incorrect.
Yeah.
The Nashville Barrel
I'm sorry,
Company.
you're right.
Mhm.
Nashville Barrel Company for some bourbon tasting.
And Matt enjoyed that immensely.
Matt loved it. Maybe. Here, I'll show you exactly how Matt felt about the bourbon. This was Matt's reaction to the bourbon. So
Over and over and over again.
Yeah. Well, as we've said on this podcast before, these guys love bourbon. I've, not that I've never been a bourbon fan, I just never really drank it that much. And after having a tasting of 4 different bourbons, I can honestly say I don't see the hype. I don't,
Well, as much fun as that stop was, and I do recommend stopping there. I really thought that back area, kind of the lounge, was really nice.
It was very cool.
I also thought, I didn't catch her name, but the young lady up front that took care of us, I thought she was great.
Left-hander.
Yeah, she was left-handed, which is, not good, Kevin. But I thought she was really nice. I think the setting is cool. Their bourbon, I'm still on the fence about. I've got a couple here. I've got a 6-year bourbon and a 10-year rye. I'm more of a fan
So all
of
of
the
their
rye.
bourbons are blends. We found out, which we kind of knew anyways, but they're all blended bourbons. Casey pretty much knows where they kind of come from, but she did not confirm or
She
deny.
didn't deny it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. But Casey, I do agree with your point. I've had a lot of Tennessee bourbons, and they do have that spice bite to them. I think that they're known for.
Yeah.
Well, they were high alcohol content too.
They're all barrel.
He did pick a low one. Didn't you pick one that was?
Yeah, the
he
first
did.
one
So-
was an 86er.
No, I got
100
notes.
proofer.
I got
Okay.
notes. No, actually, so according to the photo on the bottles, because I blew it up, the first one we had was a 5-year 42.5 proof.
So that's 86.
Well, you double that.
Okay. Oh, you
Yeah,
double it?
86.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the second one was an 8-year 114 proof.
All right.
And then the third one was a 9-year 115 proof.
Yep.
And then the last one was that maple flavored something. We didn't have the details on it. She just brought us a little thimble.
That was a little.
Actually, that was aged
birthday.
a little more. That it was
Yeah.
aged longer.
Mm-hmm.
And that was actually the worst out of all of them.
And they actually
Yeah.
add maple syrup. She said real maple. From
Yeah.
the
Well, it's
tree.
in a
It didn't
barrel.
help.
It goes into a
Right.
maple barrel, and the problem with these secondarily barreled specialty whiskey, as if you watch the old whiskey podcast we did, the specialty whiskey products is there's no regulation on how much of that maple syrup can be left in that barrel. They say they're rinsed, but how well are they rinsed? Who knows? That specific bottle or sample we had was very heavy on the maple smell. Right, like it tasted,
it smelled great.
Excuse me, smelled like syrup. But then the taste was didn't follow that smell all that closely. I don't think.
Mhm.
No,
Well,
that was a little bit of letdown.
and from a
but
guy who's never, I'll be honest with you, this was the first time I had ever drank bourbon. You know, I had whiskey before, but like bourbon, and none of them smelled horrible. They didn't smell, you know, but I mean, very spicy, very peppery, very, you know, and very ethanol. I mean, it tasted like gasoline. Literally.
As we talked, as we were trying this stuff, I think to me that's a characteristic of the Nashville Barrel Company's kind of terroir, kind of the way their flavor profile comes through. I have a couple of these barrel picks, and they're all that way, kind of spicy. And I think it's just a result of where they're aged. They're aged, you know, down there in Nashville. They do temperature controlled, which, again, to me, being a Kentucky guy, outside in the rick houses where you have these drastic temperature variations, not only from the seasonal changes, but also in the rick houses, the bottom to the top, you get some mellowing of that spiciness, because we know that some of this is Kentucky, some of it's MGP, but we know when that stuff is aged in different locations that the flavor profiles are in fact different. And I think it's a result of just Tennessee. It's a result of Nashville. But I think that they're doing the same thing a lot of these kind of upstart bourbon companies or non-distiller companies are doing. And I think it'll be good stuff. I think it's fun. I'm glad that they have it. And I think that some of the barrels that they're putting out are really nice.
And they have two locations. So we went to the main location. That's the one, not the one on Broad, but the one off Beat. There's two of them. So that's the one with a nice room.
Yeah, the original
one that I
would
would go to. The original, yes.
With a badass copper roof. The roof was pretty badass too.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, I thought it was good. So out of tasting all of those, I went through, and they're based on the flavors and their pricing, it didn't entice me to actually pull the trigger.
No.
Yeah, that is, I think I was looking at the price as well. And again, I've got all these from Club Picks. But the pricing that I've paid for these bottles are pretty much in line with what they were offering there at the shop. They are on the more expensive side. I've received or purchased a lot of other MGP or Kentucky sourced bourbons at, you know, I'll say 30%, 40% less per bottle cost. But it is Nashville. It is Nashville. Now this location is not like down in the heart of things, but you know that other one down on Broad has to be an astronomical, rental space cost.
And there was nothing wrong with that. I mean, they were just a little bit too high for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So these are the three that we had tasted right here.
And you can see, or not the first one. If you go back, Matt, you can see at least the second and third one are barrel picks. You can see Bottle Barn, and the one on the right is Flippin' Sticks, I think, or Shicks or something down there at the bottom. So their thing is barrel picks. Their thing is to have groups of people or clubs or whatever come in, taste a bunch of barrels, and buy the barrel to distribute to their kind of local club. So that's their thing. Super cool. It's an experience, and it's a place where you can go definitively get a barrel, whereas as many places you cannot do that. It's such a efficient fashion. So
Here's what I enjoyed.
What do you think about the age of those?
So I think these guys have somehow got an inside source on MGP and Kentucky barrels, because you just don't see age-stated barrel picks like this to the extent anymore that we did,
I was surprised.
5 or 6, 7 years ago, 8 years ago. Being able to get a 10-year, barrel pick, that's really impressive. That's really good.
Yeah.
I'm
sure that had something to do with their pricing as well, right?
Agreed, 100%. Yeah. Even if, the flavor profile may not be my favorite, still, when I go in the closet and I can pull out a 10-year rye, I think that's pretty fun, pretty cool and different.
Yeah, and I'm not complaining about it. I obviously have more experience than Matt with it. I wasn't complaining about it. It just wasn't hitting me.
Yeah.
And I will agree with everybody as far as that spicy finish, right? Very peppery.
Mm-hmm.
I think to me, what it's known for is the front is still very corny, very mashy, and then the finish is very peppery, very spicy. It's again, it's not my favorite.
Well,
I think when we get Kentucky bourbons that are 6 years old out of Bardstown, I think the finish is much more caramely, vanilla, Werther's,
more on the sweet side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And these barrels, for whatever reason, just don't end up there.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun having everybody smelling and trying to pull out the notes without any experience whatsoever. So that was fun. It was a blast.
Yeah. And they do wine tasting as well. So like my wife did the wine, and Casey's wife did the wine. Mm-hmm. But what I enjoyed mostly, even more than the bourbon, it was seeing Casey in his element. Seeing Casey in with the bourbons and explaining them. I mean, even Stacy was impressed as far as, the knowledge, and he's so passionate about bourbon.
She's never
talking about
impressed with Casey.
Well, no, she is, but
true.
To hear someone with so much knowledge, and kind of explaining things and taking the bull by the horn, it was freaking cool to see someone like, so passionate about something.
I do enjoy bourbon. I also enjoy seeing Stacy routinely disgusted by me. So I can see her like mother like horns come out. She's like, "Oh, if you were my son, I'd beat you half to death."
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's I'm married to a school teacher, and that's that school teacher that comes out in her sometimes, including myself. She gets just as disgusted with what I do as well. So it's fine.
Yeah. So Casey, you were drunk. You know that, Casey.
Yeah.
Be careful,
always.
Casey.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the teacher coming out.
It is
the teacher coming out.
I adore her, fortunately. And she's a good woman, but she can give me some looks that I know she wants me to die.
Here is someone enjoying their bourbon.
Somebody was sniffing.
That was my face there.
Oh boy,
Aaron's got such weird hands.
Yeah, there's some massive hands, man.
Whose hand?
You gotta have to explain that photo. All right, you have to explain that photo.
Well,
not everyone is seeing this.
Yeah. So there's a picture here of Kevin and his lovely wife, and it's a group photo that we've cropped down. And someone's hand is on Kevin's shoulder, which is
Casey.
not Aaron's, but it's a man's hand. And the way that the photo is cropped and it looks like Aaron has these massive man hands, and she's got her arm around her husband's shoulder. It was just funny. So yeah.
Hey, we also ran into a big Whiskey Watches and Wheels fan for the first time.
We did. Our number one fan is
shout out to Jeff.
Shout out to Jeff right there in Nashville. Lives in Nashville, and had spent some time with us. Had some drinks and some food, and shout out to Jeff. He's listened to every single episode.
I talked to him a lot. Actually, he's he used to play in a country band, and he noticed my G cord on my hat, and we were talking guitars, and he's had a number of guitars, so we were having a good conversation about guitars and real estate and stuff like that. So had a good time with him and his wife. We enjoyed it.
All right, so I'm glad you said that, because for the life of me, I couldn't figure out what the fuck that was on the hat. I'm like, why is Garth Brooks selling hats with backgammon on it? I didn't know.
What do you think it was?
It wasn't a big leap of faith here to guess that was a G chord.
Well, I didn't know that was a G chord. I'm not a musician. I didn't know this fucking G chord. It was a square with a bunch of little dots.
Signature. I had to look up his signature because it looks like an A.
Right.
And I was like, whose signature is this? Because his signature does not look like his name.
No. But
I used to when he earlier on, but now as he probably has gotten so tired of, it's very sloppy and it doesn't look like Garth Brooks at all.
No. And then, the hats with the lowercase G, that's kind of been his trademark for forever. And I have several of those from various concerts we've gone to. I've been to just about every one of his concerts. I'm a massive Garth Brooks fan, love Garth Brooks. But I just had never seen, the hat with the G chord, and I didn't know what the fuck it was. So.
Well, did you like
so
his
much.
bar, Matt?
What's that?
Did you like his bar?
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. It's been so long since I've been to a fucking bar like that. The last time I went to a bar, literally by 11:30 at night, it was wall to wall smoke you couldn't see in there. So I was surprised to even see that there's no smoking in bars now, which was fucking awesome to me. I said, man.
Oh, there's still smoking in bars, just not that one.
Well, exactly.
Oh,
so,
yeah. It's like weed.
Right. So that was cool. So it was fine. I mean, the band there, well.
The band there was okay.
Yeah, the band,
were pretty good.
The band downstairs, and even the band upstairs, was better than what we saw at the 1230 Club. But in my opinion, the band at Kids Rock blew them all away. I mean, those guys were doing really well.
Yeah, they were tight.
And the band at Kids Rocks were actually taking requests.
Yeah.
So at 12:30 or 12 whatever, they had their set, and they probably got paid for their gig, and they knew their song.
They don't get paid. They don't.
Oh,
get
no,
paid.
I bet over there they did, because they didn't have a tip jar, and they knew their set.
Yes, they did. They stopped.
Oh, well,
and
it was Bruno Mars.
Singer, yeah, but the singer.
Bruno Mars.
And Bruno Mars. And then CeeLo Green. And then Bruno Mars.
The guy on the keyboards, Chris Olsen on the keyboards was singing along.
No, we're talking about the restaurant. I don't think they didn't get paid. Oh,
the cruise ship. Got it.
Yeah,
right.
Because they had their set. They didn't take any requests. The bar at Kid Rock, yeah, they were phenomenal. They were
right.
What you want? Okay. And then even when we went to Kid Rock on the second night, and they were playing Buck Cherry, and I mean, I was trying to get up there to request a song for you, James, but I didn't have the line was a little bit too big. So,
well, one thing that's cool, I found cool about all the bars there is,
what song would that be?
You know what it would have been.
Yeah,
it would have been Wham.
Wham. I love it. I thought you were going to say Unskinny Bop.
No.
So every level. I don't know every level, but there's multiple bands within the bar in the club. So you have one on the bottom floor, you have one on the rooftop. There's more than one band going on,
and they're all named a different something. I know. I'm sure Aaron knows what the names of the levels are.
Of course, you
should. I know. My daughter told me the second level is like it's like some VIP or something like that. I don't know. She asked me if we went there, and I'm like, no, we just went to the bottom to the top. So, it was a little chilly on Friday, though. I know that. And then it kind of warmed up, man. I had to get a jacket and stuff. So,
So ultimate photo bomb. This is me and my wife up on the rooftop, and I'm looking at photos. And next thing I know, I see Aaron there photo bombing us behind. Made me almost pee my pants. I was laughing so hard. So yeah, it was good time had by all. And then when I was reviewing photos, I had this epiphany where I realized that our very own Kevin is turning into Jo Koy. And so for those that don't understand what I'm talking about, you've got to see these photos. And here is Kevin next to a picture of Jo Koy. And yes, Kevin's turning into Jo Koy.
I'm dyeing my beard next week. Next podcast, it's going to be black again, like Brutus.
It's the flat bill hat and the clear glasses and the salt and pepper.
Right. Yeah.
Who the fuck is Jo Koy, though?
He's a comedian.
He's a comedian.
Dude, Casey, if you've never listened to Jo Koy, he is funny as fuck, man. You've got to listen to some Jo Koy.
Yeah, go to Netflix.
Yeah, go to Netflix, man. He's very popular. He dated Casey or
Casey?
No,
Casey, he did not date me.
The handler.
Chelsea
Handler. He dated her for a little while. But yeah, he's very, very
there
funny.
Goes that
man.
Sponsor.
Yeah.
Whatever.
He's Filipino. That's why I asked Kevin if he wasn't Filipino. So
when we were at the airport, Aaron, my wife said there was somebody there was some ladies had at Tampa. They had pictures of like a guy's face, and they're like, and I'm like, yeah, right. And I look, and I swear to God, the picture had like a bald-headed guy, looked just like me, and she told me to go over there and like be like, "Hey, you found me!" Like, look, and I get so many times we go out, people are like, "I know you." Like, it's always women that they go, "I know you from somewhere," and I'm like, "No, you don't. Nope, you don't know. No, you don't know me." And she's like, "How do you know my husband?" And I don't know. I know you from somewhere. Or I'll get people that start talking to me in Farsi, Arabic, Italian, like any kind of language, and they're
Any
like, "Oh,
brown
I'm sorry."
person.
Any brown person.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has that
You're
complexion.
Worldwide famous. I'm
Yes.
more of the comedian that, what's his name? Brett Kirschner. Is that how you say his last name? The dude that takes off his shirt.
Oh, Bert Kreischer.
Bert.
Yeah, there you go. That's my
Brett
sort of comedy.
Kirschner. yeah,
Whatever.
Bert Kreischer. Yeah, Bert
That guy.
Kreischer.
Yeah.
He
Okay.
gets
Yeah.
So then
Pop
Saturday we
culture
did that.
references.
We went out. We went to, and then
And
we
then
went back to our hotel.
yeah, so Kid Rock's. So because of the St. Patrick's Day and the basketball tournament, it was just a fucking zoo. It was so crowded
was
downtown.
packed.
You couldn't even. I mean, it was butt the nut everywhere we went. You couldn't even, move
Interesting.
around. So finally, we were. You've never heard that expression before?
Oh yeah,
No.
we have.
Okay.
No, I haven't. That's
Casey,
a new one.
You have
No.
not?
No.
Casey, you've
I
lived
have
such a
not.
sheltered life, my friend.
Wow.
So we're like, screw this. We have a really nice bar at our hotel. We stayed at the Moxy. So we went back there and just chilled and
Moxy
played
Hostel.
pool and darts and drank and just hung out and spent time with each other.
Got some
So
pizza.
Got some pizzas. Yeah.
Yeah. This hotel is kind of bare bones, right? So
I wish you had
it-
pictures
it's-
to show them.
it
Oh,
is-
I know we don't.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of assumed to be a hipster hotel, but really it's
Right.
just a hostel
Minimalist.
plus, right?
Yeah.
And there's no
Closet.
closets. There's no closets or desks. The desks
No.
fold out off
I
the wall.
guess you all didn't know that beforehand.
No,
No. Well,
no.
because
It's
it's
the
a
only one that
tournament.
we get. I had booked closer, and I got the last room. So we found this hotel that we could all get into,
Mhm.
and that's what we wound up doing, which was fine. But
Yeah.
I spent, the first half hour trying to find where you fucking register, and I had no idea it was at the bar, right?
It's
So
very
I let
European.
these guys know. Yeah, I
James
let these
texts
guys
us-
know it's at the bar.
He says,
And they had a rotary phone that was neon lights.
right.
They
Yeah.
had no closet,
Nope.
which even if not even a drawer, so you could put like your dirty clothes.
Nothing.
No,
And then they had
All
just
had to hang.
peg hooks.
Mhm.
For the I don't know, just
But
and then the table
the
fell
bathroom,
down.
the bathroom door was just a barn door that slid back and forth.
yeah.
Yeah.
But they
Yeah.
had a kick-ass bar with a
They
bunch
did.
of games, and they were open till 3 a.m.
Yes.
So, and we all got free drink tickets.
We did. We got 2 free
So, hell
drinks.
yeah.
We checked in, so it was
And
good.
And
We
the
had a
drinks
blast.
weren't expensive neither, so that was a good thing.
No.
They
That
weren't
was the
like
cheapest
typical
place.
hotel.
This is the cheapest place I bought drinks for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was,
Yeah.
it was
So-
and they were super nice.
Yeah.
That was the thing. They were really sweet. Oh, and they had the unlimited freaking Mike and Ike candies. My wife, I think, probably ate half
Yeah.
a
Well,
Oh, she
damn
got all
jar
of
of
us
Mike
to
and
get
Ike's.
them. The
We
jar
would
was like
share
this big.
photos. Yeah, I would share photos, but every photo I have is Casey humping the corner of the billiards
Oh.
table.
Apologies. That's just because I beat your ass in pool like 5 times.
The
Yeah,
billiards
and
table
even
that
beat
was at
me.
a.
I was up six balls, and this guy
I beat you
comes
twice,
back.
pal.
I think that
Oh,
that
for
table was at
discussion.
like a 3-degree incline.
Yeah, it was
Shit kept rolling the wrong way.
It's the
Hey, but it was fun.
experience. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
good.
Not to
It was-
talk
it
about
was a good time.
the darts that did not fly straight at all. Right, James?
So yeah, so I go back to the office on Monday, and I've got a dartboard, and I'm throwing these darts, and literally I can't hit the side of a barn because I was still trying to adjust from those plastic darts. It was
Those
pathetic.
those things
man.
were bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was a good
But,
time.
yeah.
And
Well,
honestly,
in the end,
honestly, I
Sorry,
think
go
that
ahead.
when you get a group of 4 dudes and their wives together, that ends up being a much better hangout than the Kid Rock bar anyway, right? I mean,
No,
we did it,
had
we
such a good
experienced
time.
it, it was
Agreed.
great, but we actually want to hang out and talk and cut up and
Mhm.
make
Yeah.
fun of each other, and it's a much better actual real life experience at a
Right.
place like the Moxy.
Well, and it was cool
and
for
I
me
would
because.
say,
Go ahead, James.
sorry, I would say that based on the activity there, that we had to go off the beaten path a little bit for this hotel, it
Mhm.
wound up working out great. because we were on the fringes, so we got to get a little bit more experience of different neighborhoods as opposed to just right down on Broadway. And if you're going to Nashville strictly for the Broadway scene, you're missing out on a lot. Yeah. Because I found that those neighborhoods we walked through and shopped and ate at and hung out at, I thought those were really neat.
Yeah, that neighborhood where Buck Mason was, whatever that neighborhood was called, that strip there was really cool. Saw some cool cars going up and down. A lot of just friendly people walking, families, dogs, whatever. And at least I thought the restaurant that we ate at was halfway decent. I mean, not fantastic, but it was.
Besides the low talker?
Yeah, reasonably priced, which is rare in Nashville. And it was a gorgeous day. So it was fun.
Yeah. Our hotel was pretty much, for the most part, on Vanderbilt campus. So my wife and I would get up every morning and go for about a 3-mile walk, through the campus. Vanderbilt has such a beautiful campus. The mornings were, coming from Florida where it had been warm, crisp and cool, and everything was in full bloom. It was just gorgeous every single morning. And plus, it was a little kind of, a lot of cool little shops and restaurants. So we ate this breakfast one morning at this place called Biscuit Love on our last day there. We didn't fly out on Sunday until later in the afternoon. So we went and had breakfast and walked around and everything, so it was really cool.
Cool.
Well,
is there anything else we want to talk about?
I'll say it one more time. I appreciate it so much. I know I texted you guys, and it really does mean a lot to me. And it truly is something I won't forget, whether, we ever get to do something like that again. I really do appreciate it. And I can't say how thankful I am. So thank you.
No, it was cool, man. It was the very first time that I had the opportunity to meet your wife in person.
That's
other
right.
than just, because she hadn't been to the rallies, and other than, on Instagram or whatever, I've never met her in person. And such a sweet, young lady. And it was just really cool to spend time with y'all. So,
yeah, agreed.
Until 50.
Yeah, we got like 15 more minutes or so. So what do you guys want to? We got several things that we can talk about. There's hybrid 911s or new Wranglers.
How
or
about this? How about $100,000 Jeep?
Yes, we can talk about the $100,000 Jeep. I don't get it. Listen, well, first of all, I love Jeep Wranglers. I mean, the idea coming from Florida to have something that's impractical and take the top off and go to the beach or whatever is fine. I don't need my box on wheels to do 0 to 60 in 4 seconds.
No, but if you did need that, you can buy a shit box, put an LSX in it, and do it for $20,000. I mean, you can buy these things.
I think, Casey, now that you've hit 40, you need to remember, I don't think there's a car out there that's $20,000 brand new. Like, I used to say about Civics and stuff like that, and like, oh, I could buy a Civic. I think Civics now,
fucking Miata's $40,000. A $40,000 for Miata.
So, I think when we look, and I know, Casey, you don't buy anything new, like new vehicles and stuff, but I think we do this all the time when we think like, oh, 1990 was only 10 years ago. No, that was actually 30 years ago. Like that kind of thing. You go back to when I bought my first, car, and it was like, $12,000. So the new one, Civics aren't that much anymore. And like, I bought a 4Runner, and what do you got? If you know, but Casey, what do you think a new 4Runner cost?
Well, I did search for one before we bought Ashley's Cayenne, so that would have been in 2018. And we were looking at 2-year-old 4Runners, and at that time the budget was 35 to 40 grand, and that was for 2 years, so that would have been like a 2015 2016 4Runner.
Yeah, and now I mean it's almost $70,000 for a 4Runner.
Unbelievable. I mean, it is. So, it's unbelievable. But when I said what I meant to imply is that you can buy a shitbox, meaning you can buy, a mid 90s, late 90s.
That's a 30-year-old car.
I know, but they're all the same. The new interiors are different. But
I will tell you, I've been in one of these. My neighbor has one, and you don't have to get out of your car to, do your lockers. I'm into off-roading. It has traction control where you push a button and the wheels.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of different features.
How's that go?
At least that's what mine sounds like. I don't have a piece of shit Jeep, but
that's exactly right. It actually works.
I like
Toyotas.
I like
Yes,
Jeeps.
but-
I like Jeeps. But
does it come with a fold-out table and an 83-piece toolkit for
exactly.
$101K?
So let's go over some of the stats. So this is what we're talking about because I don't know, we actually said it. We threw a picture up there. So for those listening,
it's got a winch already.
This is the Jeep Wrangler. It's the 392 Rubicon Final Edition. We all know that motor is going away. So this is the final edition for this motor. Jeep's going to produce 3,700 units of the 392 Final Edition. They're starting at 101,890.
It looks like a short wheelbase Hummer H2.
Yeah, a little bit. I can see that. But the features: 17-inch beadlock capable wheels, and they're in bronze.
Yep.
Comes with a winch. Comes with a grill guard. Comes with the rock sliders. Comes factory with a 1/2-inch lift, so the clearance is going to be 11.5 inches. Comes with full Napa leather inside. As James alluded to, comes with a fold-out table and an 83-piece toolkit. It's equipped with a 470 horsepower, 6.4-liter V8. Does 0 to 60 in 4 seconds and gets a very svelte 13 miles to the gallon.
So
that's going to be scary.
The
Gunning that
bullshit
thing
on this
to 60.
Yeah.
The bullshit on this is that the winch is like a Badlands winch. You can buy.
No, it's not. It's a Warren. It's a Warren winch.
Cares? The Badlands does the same thing. It does the same thing. It's $1,000 bumper, $800 rock sliders. Beadlocks are, you can pay good money, $2,000 for those. The toolkit doesn't give a shit. I don't care about.
Nope.
The fold out table I don't care about. The interior in Napa leather, you don't want that in your off-road vehicle. All I'm saying is they've put
What about the motor?
The motor is what you're in theory paying for, but I still say buy an older one and LS swap it. You can have the same stuff that doesn't have all the new bullshit emissions on it.
But not everybody has. Not everybody okay, so I have a 4Runner. I bought it. I wanted a special color, and I bought it when everything was through the roof. $68,000 out the door. 4Runner with a rush green. I ended up, and I should have listened to my fabricator, Bert, because he said, Kevin, why don't you just buy a base one? Because I end up spending about $10,000 putting in a roof rack, a bumper, a winch with 2 batteries, rock sliders, because what they all had is just attached to the frame. So I bought rock sliders, lift kit. And that's no labor. Like we did everything ourselves. And then a battery stabilizer. I'm trying to think what else we put in there. A couple, panels for the back. And I spent about $10,000, and I could have saved probably $10,000. I could have saved. So to your point, Casey, though, not everybody has the tools and the stuff. And plus, this has, it already has a lift kit. It already has a winch. It already has
and I get that, but coming from an FJ Cruiser, which I highly recommend, although they're so overpriced now. I put 316,000 miles on my FJ Cruiser. Fantastic vehicle, just as your 4Runner, which is why I was looking at them, because I had such great success. But you've got so many aftermarket companies that are providing extremely good products for these vehicles. And this vehicle has been out for 50 years, since the 70s, right? Mm-hmm. And there's so much overlap in compatibility. I don't know the Jeep inside and out, so I don't know what years overcross, but there's going to be more years than just 2023, 2024 that overlap. So the parts availability are extensive, and you don't need to pay this outrageous price unless you...
Okay, so how much is a 2022?
Well, maybe it's a flex.
I bet a 2022 cost, probably $60,000.
Well, they're right here. So here's the thing. So 2023s, all right.
Okay.
Rubicon 392s, 7,000 miles, 8,000 miles, 78, 82,000, 78,000. So, at 101,000, it will sell just because of the fact that it's the final edition and they're only producing 3,700.
Yeah, but they're also doing the limited edition economy here, and they're throwing that in and jacking it up. But
and those don't.
You sure?
Do those?
You sure you didn't turn 60, Casey?
I know. Yeah, I'm a prude when it comes to spending money on this silly stuff, because you can lay on your back for 2 hours, and not that way, but installing like rock sliders, and you've achieved the same thing for a probably, I won't bet my life on it, but probably a better product that you can buy.
Well, not
from
only that,
DO
you're not going to worry,
ARP.
right? You're not going to worry about going out there and four-wheeling with the thing if you've done it yourself and done it on a budget. This thing's not going to see any dirt. It's going to see fucking speed bumps at the Harris Teeter.
Yeah.
Well, and most of them are like that anyway. So, I mean, anyone that's a Casey, the people that I typically see on the trails, they usually the ones that are beating up on them. And I will disagree with you. I love leather seats because I don't want mud getting into my cloth seats, or I would put a cover on it. But I typically see somebody with Jeeps. They have, either my neighbor has one and she has the sticks and the neon, lights and the little figurines and the
ducks.
The ducks. Don't forget the ducks.
And like, I mean, she goes off roading, but I mean, if she was ever stuck, if she was ever stuck, we get swamps over here. So.
We do.
That is true.
Here's my thing. You have to remember, and no disrespect to Jeep, Chrysler, Jeepers. Ram. I mean, I own a Ram, or I drive a Ram. No disrespect, but I don't know that I want to buy a Rubicon with a 392 engine with 30,000 miles on it. I mean, that's let's face facts. That brand is not necessarily known for long-term reliability.
And let's think of who's buying that car. Realistically, who's buying that car and how they're treating it, with the 4 second 0 to 60 with 35s on it. Yeah.
Any Jeep I've ever been in, it's got this, especially if it's got big tires, it's got a lot of movement, it's got a lot of noise. I mean, the last thing I would want to do is punch that thing with that big engine in there. That'd be scary.
Well, that was my point. I actually really do like Jeeps. I'll probably say something that some people won't like, but Jeep versus Bronco. Nothing against the new Ford Bronco, but I still like the Jeep better than I like the Bronco. There's just heritage there, and there's heritage with the Bronco as well, but I just like the aesthetics of the Jeep better. I personally would own a Jeep, but again, I don't need my box with a top off to go 0 to 60 in 4 seconds. That's just me. Give me a regular inline 6 or 6-cylinder, or the Pentastar V6.
And how many miles does it get to the gallon? You said, Matt?
13 miles a gallon.
So my 400 gets 16 and 14 around the city.
Yeah.
Now I will say it's got no balls at all. But that's going to last for 300,000 miles.
Exactly. And that's always the knock on the Toyota vehicles, right? My FJ, even with the 320,000 miles on it, I was still looking at potentially putting a supercharger on it, just because it literally couldn't get out of its own damn way, get onto the interstate. Yep. It was like 44 seconds, 0 to 60, which is a little slow. But I think 4 seconds for a quote unquote off-road vehicle is unnecessarily quick.
Gosh, what happens? What happens if you have to swerve? If you have to swerve around somebody while you're punching this thing, you're not.
I know. Well, this may be the Florida man coming out in me, but I mean, again, when you're driving a Jeep, top off, you got your damn chubbies on, you got some freaking country music playing or whatever like that. It's a vibe, man. You're chilling. You're cruising.
No
I don't need to go fast. I want to go slow.
I want them passing me, right? Look at my chubs.
Yeah, I don't. Dude, exactly. I'm just chilling, man. I'm heading to the beach. I got my flip flops on. If I'm wearing shoes at all, I got my doors off. I'm just chilling.
1 foot out the door.
Yeah, 1 foot out the door because the door's off. My old ladies over here got 1 foot up on the dash. We're rocking and rolling, man. We're living our best Florida life.
Got that natty ice in the back seat, ready to go.
Yep, natty ice in the back seat in the cooler. We're ready to rock and roll, man. Got a little portable grill in the back. So
but realistically, that is, in my opinion, what Jeep should go after, is that lifestyle. Right. Because that is their brand.
But they already have.
They are.
They already
Well,
conquered
Maybe
that.
you're
they
right.
do need to
Maybe
make-
you're right.
Sure.
They
This
need
is
to make a
just-
bare bones one with all that stuff on it, like they used to. Like just a bare bones Jeep with no carpet, just
Spray
rubber
it out.
floor mats,
Yep.
Yeah.
spray it out, and with some good tires, a lift kit, maybe a snorkel kit, and a winch. A crappy radio.
Yep.
Some vinyl seats.
Yep.
That's what they do,
Well, this is just
Oh,
an exclamation point to retire the car.
Right.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It is what it is.
I want them to partner with Margaritaville. I want it to come equipped with a damn Margaritaville
Machine in
margarita
the back.
maker in the back
Yes.
of the, plug it in, and
that's all right. You can put the
there we
wheel
go.
cover in the back that says Margaritaville. They're all
There
over
you
the
go.
place. So
Although I'll
Life's
be
a
honest,
beach.
I have lots of Jeep friends. My buddy Brian drives a Jeep. My friend Danelle drives a Jeep. Whatever. The fucking duck thing, I don't get. I
it's
don't
weird.
understand the ducks. I don't. I listen. I just don't get it. I see these. I see badass Jeeps, really cool badass
With
jet
like
that
47
with like
ducks on the
35
dash.
ducks across the
you
dash.
give
I'm
a
like, what the
duck
fuck?
in someone's Jeep when you like
You
their
give a
Jeep.
duck.
Yeah.
You give a duck, and it's a promotional thing that they did during one of the car. They placed a big duck.
Mhm.
I think it was. I could be mistaken, but the auto show in Chicago. I don't know. I actually had one on a noose. I was going to hang it from my
There you go.
Toyota.
Yeah.
But I decided not to do that. So,
Yeah,
I
Florida.
see. Yeah.
For the listening audience, please know that if and when I get my Jeep, if you leave a duck on my car,
I will check.
thank you and immediately shit kick it right into the trash can. I'm
Yeah.
not keeping it.
And
Just so you know.
As a fan of pretty much niche vehicles, since I joined the driving world, I had Miata, I had a Classic, I had Punch Bug, I've had the FJ Cruiser, the 911. Like these are all relatively like niche vehicles, right? Like they all kind of have their weirdness when you like pass another one. You got the Punch Buggy, the Miatas will flip their lights up, whatever. But the Jeep
Three
duck
fingers
thing,
down. Right?
We're gonna
we do
guys. We need
L's
to pull our
down.
money together. We're buying Casey a PT Cruiser for his birthday.
that one I will not drive.
Not even the
Especially in
turbo?
purple.
The PT Cruiser Turbo.
No.
No.
I'll
No.
pass. I'll pass.
Hey, let's change the subject and give an update on EVs as far as how's the Hertz CEO going?
I think he's looking for a new job.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
And why is that?
Indeed.
EVs suck.
Because he bought 100,000 Teslas.
and it didn't go over as well as planned.
So
I
the
guess.
repair costs were through the roof. And as you know, with car rentals,
Yep.
you rent a car and you beat the balls off of it.
Beat the hell out of it.
Yeah, the
No doubt.
repairs. And plus, a lot of people don't realize neither that Tesla does not have a lot of parts available for. They're so busy making cars, they don't have replaceable parts. And they've been out, which I don't get this because the car has looked the same forever. I don't know why a aftermarket company has not produced, or there should be 20 aftermarket companies producing front bumpers, for these or back bumpers or door panels.
Are these
or whatever
drop
the case.
ship cars?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean,
No telling.
my question is this a bigger issue of the batteries needing to be replaced? And
No, I think it's
I
from what
skimmed
I
through
read,
this.
It was
I've read
basically
other
just
things.
yeah.
Okay.
It was like Kevin said. It was costs. It was
repair costs.
repair costs.
Man, you
So-
need some ad blockers.
I know it, man. So
you can't. It's all those porn sites he goes on. So you can't get
Pornhub for the
you
win.
Can't. People that are getting in accidents, they're waiting sometimes 6 to 8 months for repair parts.
Oh, that's
So
insane.
yeah. So that's where that's at. And as a car rental place, you're not going to have a car with a door ding on it and be able to rent that out.
So my
Well-
question is Hertz, or are they allowed to replace with aftermarket parts, or do they have to replace with factory parts?
I don't think they replace. They don't own a body shop. They send them out.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not. They don't even do their own oil changes.
and the problem is a
Really?
lot of these Teslas, there's not aftermarket parts. I mean, it's
Okay.
Oh, you got
You know,
hubcaps
yeah.
and lowering springs.
exactly. That's about it. But for body panels, you're stuck. You got to wait.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
but
so
you need. So Kevin, just to confirm, when you say they don't do their own oil changes, that's not for the Tesla. That's for their other.
Oh,
that's true.
Yeah, it just came as
well. The bottom line is,
we'll get comments.
when
Of
someone
course
takes
you're not going to do oil changes.
when someone
Hertz,
takes a
that's-
$245 million hit to its earnings, the CEO is not keeping their job.
Well,
Simple
and
as
I
that.
also think too, this was, we had a lot of people weren't traveling because of, aftermath of COVID.
Yep.
There was a lot of things into it, but I think from previous podcasts when they had all those Hertz and budgets for sale, they were high mileage that were for, super cheap. I looked into it because I was like, hey, I'll get one cheap. And a lot of them they're at their limit at 60 to 80,000 miles. A lot of them had door dings, but then as you started going deeper into multiple articles, they were talking about repair costs and how long it's been taking and stuff like that. So if the car's not running and it's not making money, and
So
then they started.
Do we know? Do you all know of how things like their control arm bushings are lasting? Is that part of these repair costs that you're talking about?
I didn't understand your question.
Like your control arm bushings. A Toyota, my Porsches, they last 150 to 200,000 miles, right? But on a Miata, they only last like 60.
I haven't heard anything about that. My main thing was body panels, updates, firmware updates, because the technician has to go in there for firmware. They don't have enough because some of these firms take, an hour to 2 hours. So imagine if you're Hertz and you have 50 of these at a big international airport. It's not making money doing that. Issues with, from what I've heard, you don't even have to change the brake pads very much because, you're doing regenerative braking. Yep. Yeah. And it does but
plus they drive so damn slow because they're worried about their charge.
Yeah. So and a lot of people were renting these for Uber. So, they were just going quick, and we've all seen the pictures of the delaminating pleather on the steering wheels.
Yeah,
you're not so that's not getting rented out. The dashboard's falling apart again. Now that's off service now. There's the doors popping off, and let's face it, that's with a person who owns the car. Can you imagine what some 26-year-old rental? They don't give a shit about their car. So because it ain't theirs, they're beating the balls off of that thing. And so I think a lot of those things, I think it's just repair costs.
That's every rental car.
I've said 100%. It before. I said it before, and I'll say it again. There is no better four-wheel drive vehicle than a rental car. Right. It does anything you want to do. It'll jump fucking curbs. It'll
train tracks.
Dude, it'll do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, anything you want.
So that's what I just think. And we'll see what happens with, I don't know. I think, is it Pulsar? Is that the Pulse?
Volkswagen, Volvos.
Yeah.
You can start renting those through a lot of the companies. I know Uber's allowing you to rent those. I think it's going to be the same situation. I think they're going to get their numbers up, and then it's going to happen. And I think it's going to just be the same.
Well, that'll be good for Polestar because we discussed it on a couple podcasts back where Volvo is about done subsidizing them with cash, and to the point that
it's probably why they're doing it too.
Well, the parent company Geely, Volvo is like, hey, I'm just going to give Polestar back to you, and you can deal with it. They're tired of subsidizing with cash. So
yeah, cool. No, we'll see.
Yeah.
Anything we got? Anything else going on? A little update on my car, my red car. I got the oil sending level fixed. Put some new tires on. What else did I do to it today? Got
and
the
your Ruckus bound.
Yes, and I'm going to Ruckus.
Oh, you finally got the invite? Good.
I got the invite. Going to Roanoke, Virginia. For those who do not know, I was going to use the auto train because it says Sanford. I went to book my ticket today. Has to have a minimum of 4-inch clearance. Blah 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 blah. Read up all up, watch videos. I went to book it because it's going to be like $400 something bucks for a round trip. And then I saw it's an extra $500 for your car.
That's ridiculous.
That puts me at over $1,000. I'm just gonna, I don't know. Maybe I'll just have them actually.
Why you just drive up? Why you just drive up and spend a couple days here, recover, and then drive up with us?
Spend some time with me.
Yeah, just come up.
What am I going to go do? Hang out with you when you're in surgeries?
No, I'll take some
You
days
put me in
off.
some scrubs.
I'll put you in scrubs. You can come see some surgery.
There you go.
It'll be fine.
What is that?
It'd be great.
Hey, your friend is
Kevin
passed
will be
out.
Hold
like,
on.
ew, what are you doing?
Is that Jo Koy operating room?
Jo Koy's in the
Kevin
operating
would be
room.
like, I can do that. I can make that.
I can make that.
I can
I can make
that.
that.
I'm going to pull this up.
Guy needs a
but
new prosthetic leg. I can make that.
one thing you all were talking about, I thought was really good, is plug kits. So I thought I would show you the plug kit I have that I use. Had great success with. It's on Amazon. If I can hit the button, here it is. This
For those
plug kit.
listening, go back and listen to last week's
Oh.
episode because Casey wasn't on last week's episode, so he got to actually hear it, and we were talking about plug kits last week.
So here's a plug kit I use. I've used this several times.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it's fantastic. It's
I dig
easy
it.
to use. It's pretty cheap. I don't know where the price is over here, but I think I paid like $40 for. Oh, there it is, top left corner.
Yeah, $39.
Same thing. Nice repair kit.
It gets through the tire, or do you still have to ream it out? Because that's the hardest part, is when you're on your back or whatever, trying to push because you don't have the leverage. Trying to push.
I'll tell you how to do it the easiest way is that you deflate the tire all the way. So use that pick to push the thing on the tire and let all the air out of the tire. Make it all the way flat.
Okay.
And then when you ream the tire with the reamer, it is easy, super easy to do.
That's the easy part. I'm saying the reamer part's the easy part. Getting the plug into the tire, and I see that has a gun. So
yes, this kit is very, very easy. I've done it.
So that
like I
gun
said, several
will
times.
give you the pressure to get that in.
Correct.
Instead of where the fuck were you last weekend when I just bought these? Oh, he
was in Nashville.
Sorry.
I know.
And so here's the other thing that I highly recommend. You all mentioned this, but a tire inflator. I carry this on every rally or longer trip that I go on. You can get them from, DeWalt or Ryobi if you've got that battery system already. I use this.
Really
Get
good.
the gun though. Get the gun like Casey is showing you, not those little small emergency ones.
Right.
Yeah. I use these I'm not doing it so much anymore, but on the racetrack for the motorcycle and the car for track days. And these things, you'd be surprised at how well they work. They really work really well. And so you can air down when you want to get a little bit crazy on back roads or on track.
I will give you a disclaimer though. None of those guns, because I've had 3 of them, none of them work if you're using off-road tires that carry like a high pressure, anything over probably 60 or 70 or 80 pounds. It will actually blow past that gun because my van takes like 78 PSI and it will not work. Because I have the one that you have, James. I've had that one. And I use the Milwaukee, which is pretty small. That one seems to do, because it's a little compressor. But
I will say that if you're in an emergency and you're in the middle of Texas and you need some pressure, even in those scenarios, you can get 40, 45 PSI and you can make it somewhere at a slower speed. Go ahead, James.
Well, are you finished with that?
No, what else you got there? You got fuses. I realized too, if you have a Porsche, by the way, you can't go to AutoZone to buy those bus fuses nowhere, so you have to order those online.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that you all mentioned, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Those were the only 2 notes I made.
We talked about tires.
Yeah, I have tire recommendation. I didn't check what mine are before I came in, but I think I'm a huge Michelin fan. Both race tires and street tires, I've had extremely good success with them. The PS4S for the road is extremely good. That's what I have. They're more than sticky enough, I promise. For any of you clowns out on the street, it is more than sticky.
Cup twos only.
Yeah, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I really, you all know that we've talked in our group about this, and I get really fired up about tires and James tire pressure. The PS4S is more than enough tire on the street. If you're overdoing a PS4S on the street, you're driving like a fucking asshole, and you really should check yourself. Cup 2s are great on the street. I rode with a couple of guys with Cup 2s on Farron this past fall, and they did fine. But if you're pushing a Cup 2 on the street to where there's...
No. I think what's happening is people are pushing 4S's on the street, and also I don't know. I kind of
but 4S's
we don't always have that
grip.
choice, right? Yeah. But you're talking 997, 991. I've got them on my 991, but when we're talking older car, air-cooled rally,
vintage, you're not going to get that.
Our 16 inches, we have other choices.
But we don't do we, James, because it seems like summertime is here, and you can't find certain tires.
That's my lead in is, we went over some tires last episode, and I went to order them, and I was able to order specifically the ones I want. And then an hour later, I got a phone call saying that they don't have them anywhere in the country.
Hey, Kevin's really good about that stuff, right? Kevin, you only sell what you got in stock. So hit up Asphalt Killers. But the last thing I'd say, well, for other stuff like cool shifters and mufflers.
Well, I wound up.
But if you're going to get some nice tires,
go ahead.
Be smart. There's no sense in doing 888s on the street and trying to push those. It's way too much tire for the street.
What'd you get, James?
I got the Conti Sports.
Did you?
The extreme contacts.
You didn't get the ones I showed you?
No, I did not. I talked to a couple other people, and they've been impressed with them. I run the Contis before on my BMWs in the past. I've liked them, so I'm going to give it a shot.
BMW's equivalent to Porsche, sure.
Yeah, they compare well to those R1Rs. So
cool.
And I think they have better wet traction.
We should have a real tire discussion at some point. I enjoy tires. I after being in the motorcycle racing, I really geeked out on learning tires and learning the differences and the capabilities and temperatures and pressures and stuff.
So I guess you're really pissed off that they don't make the Power Sport 2C2 anymore, huh? Because they stopped making that.
Yeah, maybe.
Me too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a topic for another day.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We went
Sounds like a good one now.
It is a good one, and I know nothing about tires other than the fact they're round and wide and stick me to the ground. So that's good to know. I just buy what
you're learning a lot then about
I am
bourbon,
learning a lot.
Tires.
Yeah,
and I don't know what else.
Bourbon.
Ducks.
Yeah, ducks. And the practical use for them.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys. Well,
all right, fellas. Well, I'm gonna call that a night.
A wrap.
It's a wrap. Those listening, thank you very much. For those, our YouTube numbers keep ticking up, and for that we appreciate. For those downloading via Apple iTunes or Apple Podcast or Spotify, again, thank you very much. Hit us up again. We've started to receive some comments. We really appreciate that. Contact at whiskeywatchesandwheels.com if you guys need to have any suggestions or things we can do better or things you want to hear about. We'll gladly research it and talk about it. Hit up our YouTube. Our Instagram, it's Whiskey Watches and Wheels on everything. Pretty easy to find. Our Instagram has a link tree, and it's got links to just about everything right there on it. So hit us up. And other than that, guys, that's all I got. You got anything else?
Nope.
All right, guys. See y'all later. Peace out.